time of trouble, better carry slow. Statutes and commandments, what you gonna do? In time of trouble, judgment's yeah. What you gonna do? Yeah, judgment's yeah. In time of trouble, yeah. What you gonna do? Yeah, what now? What you gonna do? In time of trouble, judgment's yeah. You better not, yeah. Judgment's yeah. In time of trouble.
First, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shout out to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Greetings and blessings. Shout out to the brothers on the panel. Shout out to the those who are in the room. Thank you for support. This is this is our one of our spin-off rooms from Thy Kingdom Come, Jacob's Trouble. So this is episode 22. For those who are new, starting around almost a year ago, we've had several episodes regarding Jacob's Trouble. First one, starting from what is Jacob's Trouble from a biblical standpoint, how should we prepare? We covered several aspects of Jacob's Trouble: hyperinflation, famine, cyber attacks, power outages, food storage, food rotation, first aid, personal protection, um, how to grow your own food. Then we, did another series within Jacob's Trouble called Analyzing Jacob's Trouble, where we took various TV shows and short films and did relevant lessons on things that we could learn from them. All those videos are in King Ben's YouTube channel. He has a separate playlist called Jacob's Trouble, and it has everything from episode 1 all the way up to episode 21. So tonight, welcome to episode 22, World War III, How Should We Prepare? And so this is kind of going to be a kind of a broad overview of all the lessons we covered so far. Within that, we covered EMPs, we covered the right mindset to have in the spirit and the wrong mindset to have. So we're kind of going to do a recap, excuse me, considering where we are in world events and biblical prophecy. But first and foremost, before, people, a lot of people, talk about, guns and food and all that. There's some things that, we have to get right in the spirit. First is our mindset. So typically, this is for us in the truth, obviously, because, the Christians, they believe they're going to get raptured, which I'm trying to figure out when they're going to get raptured. And why haven't they been raptured yet? So they're not caring about anything that we have to say. But for those in the truth, I tend to see a certain level of fear or high end anxiety going on. These brothers and sisters are in the truth. They understand, we are Israel, and they understand scriptures. But that spirit of fear and anxiety, it pops up in every one of us, depending on situations and circumstances. So, but there's one thing you should know, and I think, we covered that in the wrong mindset to have, that episode. Fear and faith cannot occupy the same place in your heart at the same time. Either faith is there, or fear. You've never seen anyone saying I had faith, and they're sweating and got high blood pressure and smoking 3 or 4 cigarettes and just their knees are shaking. That's not faith. So what we're going to do before we get into more of the natural preparation, I'm just going to read off a couple of precepts to for those who are dealing with the anxiety. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little nervous, a little excited, more than nervous, because it's crazy how things are unfolding, that we've read and learned from teachers and watchmen and things like that. But to see it physically unfold is it's exciting and nervous at the same time. So to make sure that fear is subsided, I'm going to go over a couple of precepts, and after I finish, if the brothers want to give some precepts before I go into the more physical aspect of things to consider, let's go. But we're not going to be here long, so I'm going to get started. The first precept I want to read is Isaiah 43. I mean, you can write these down, or The replays are on. You can watch it later, or go to King Ben's YouTube channel and watch it in your free time. But first one is Isaiah 43. But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. And through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flames be kindled upon thee. For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from afar and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Every one that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him. Bring forth the blind that have eyes and the deaf that have ears. Let all the nations be gathered and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses that they may be justified, or let them hear. Say, it is true. Ye are my witnesses, saith the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. I, even I am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. Okay. Next one is Job chapter 5, verse 19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it comes. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Psalms 118. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Let Israel now say that his mercy endureth forever. Let the house of Aaron now say that his mercy endureth forever. Let them that fear the Lord say that his mercy endureth forever. I called upon the Lord in distress. The Lord answered me and set me in a large place. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear. What can man do unto me? The Lord has taken my part with them that helped me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon my enemy. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in princes. All nations compass me about, but in the name of the Lord will I destroy them. They compass me about, yea, they compass me about, but in the name of the Lord I will destroy them. They compass me about like bees. They are quenched as the fire of thorns, but in the name of the Lord I will destroy them. Thou hast thrust me sore that I might fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my strength and my song, and has become my salvation. The voice of rejoicing is in the tabernacles of the righteous. The right hand the Lord doeth valiantly. The right hand the Lord is exalted. The right hand the Lord doeth valiantly. I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. The Lord has chastened me sore, but he has not given me over to death. Psalms 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings thou shalt trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes thou shalt behold and see the reward of the wicked, Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thou habitation. Therefore shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon, thou shalt trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life would I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Next is Psalms 34. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked unto him and were lighted. Their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around them that fear him and delivers them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusts in him. O fear the Lord, ye his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not want any good thing. Come, ye children, hearken unto me, and I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What is man that desireth life and loveth many days, that he may see good? Keep thy tongue from evil and thy lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. The eyes on the Lord, the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous, and his ears are unto their cry. The face of the Lord is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saves such that be of a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of all. He keeps all his bones, and none of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. The Lord redeems the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. I got a couple more. This is Salakia. Second Ezra, chapter 16, and start at 67. The whole chapter is appropriate for where we are now, but let's start at 67. Behold, God himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord God. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe unto them that are bound with sins and covered with their iniquities, like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns, that no man may travel through. It is left undressed and is cast into the fire to be consumed therewith. Um, right. So that's what I have for now. So those precepts, there's a certain theme in those precepts, and it speaks true throughout the entire Bible. You know, fear not, and that's even in the Torah. Do not be afraid of them. Fear not. That's a commandment. So part of keeping the commandments is fearing not. And within that, I mean, a lot of these speak to the last days. The Most High is going to protect us. So whether or not you've had 6 months to prepare and buy generators and guns and bullets and food and all this stuff, or you had 6 days. If both of y'all are keeping the commandments and having faith in the Messiah, you have nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing. Not to say you won't experience any uncomfortability or hardship, but you will be delivered from the same. So says the Holy Scriptures. Okay. So hopefully that was comforting. Hopefully those who are dealing with anxiety and fear um, got some comfort through those scriptures. Right down those precepts. There's a million more, Psalms, is loaded with them. But the theme is consistent based on, I mean, the theme is consistent through other Psalm, like everything that I just covered, these precepts. If whatever other precepts you pull, and if the brothers want to pull some to kind of add to it, feel free. They're consistent. Do not be afraid. I'm going to deliver you. Stop sinning. Keep the faith. Keep the commandments. There's a consistent theme of those who are saved. It's not, those who are wilding out. And I've seen some stuff on the timeline and Twitter recently, and it's just a mess. Those people are not going to be delivered if they don't repent. That's just based on the scriptures. So at this point, if any brothers want to bring out any precepts, feel free. If not, I'll go ahead and move on to the more of the natural things that we should um, have in our minds.
Um, con. Mainly, first, let me give a shout out to my brother Quadazop that is, pinning the precepts in the chat for people to be able to, get those precepts. The Water King. Um, yeah, and those, of course, is, spot on precepts, as to, and I don't want to be too long winded because I want you to get to the lesson. We'll bring some more out. But just when you went to second address is a time that we're actually, in right now, right? As it relates to prophecy. And you know, every day we have to be, rehearsing the righteous acts. We gotta be reading, we gotta be studying, we have to be listening, you know, doing way more listening than talking to the elders and those that are studied, right? So we can know what time we're in. That's what our what us as brothers that start out the morning doing the news, we aspire to do is to be able to decipher what's going on and connect it to prophecy, right? That's what we're in, the time of trouble, right? We are, as it speaks about in Revelation, it speaks about the two woes that's past and the one that cometh, right? And that's the title of the room. I just want to read um, one precept in Second Ezra 15 because all of the chapter is fire, man. I would suggest you read it if you haven't, right? But it says, this is Second Ezra 15. I'm gonna start at 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." Right? So he's literally, you know, he's telling you, right? He's commanding you to speak to his people. That's literally what, we're doing right now. That's what the brothers is doing constantly on this app with all of the rooms, the lessons the brothers is doing on the street, the brothers is doing on YouTube, with all of different mediums, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything that's available right now. The prophets is trying to speak, right? And you say, well, who's to say they are the prophets? Well, they're speaking the word of the prophets. They're echoing the words that the prophets echoed in the book, right? And these men are able to recite it without question, right? So that's literally the words of the Most High. They're just repeating it. It goes on to say, verse 2, it says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true, right? And these are those words that are written in paper. This is the book, right? And it's not just the Torah, right? It's not just the Tanakh. It's the volume of the book, right? As it says in the Baruch, right? The Most High, His words is His laws is in the volume of the book. Yahushua is in the volume of the book, right? From Genesis to Revelations, right? You can find that the words of the prophets is echoed through all of those books, right? It says, verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredul the Slakia, the incredulity, Salakia. And that word incredulity, it basically means the state of being unwilling or unable to believe something, right? And we have a lot of that now. That's the time that we're in, that we're really trying to tell people to that the kingdom of heaven is at hand and the redeemer is on his way. But they would shrug it off as to say, well, he's always been on his way. We're not in that time, right? But just finishing up, it says, I'm gonna start again. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, and let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, right? For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So that's what time we're in. That's literally what the brother is telling you. We're preparing for what is to come, and we're in those times of trouble. We can't let those people that is not set up to believe this thing cast doubt among us that is set in this thing, right? We're coming into this thing, learning, rehearsing the righteous acts, and we're going to have a lot of naysayers. We're going to have a lot of people that, as Brother Jake said earlier today, that are set up to literally to take people out of the truth. They have been set up and built for one thing, right? So that's what we're dealing with right now. That's what we're up against. The World War III, it will be fought with all of these things, right? And I'm sure the brother is going to get to it, but it'll also be fought spiritually, right? Spiritually against those that wish to cast you out of this truth. With that, I yield.
And right before we let the brother get into it, I wanted to bring out a precept real quick to show that fear is definitely not a good thing. It's counterproductive, and the fact that we'll be condemned if we actually indulge in fear. So there's something that we have to eradicate from our spirit, right? As these times and these days press on, because like Leo mentioned, it's not going to be comfortable, and things are going to happen that really are going to test your faith, right? And this is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, and verse 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful, and the unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And real quick, just to break down that first part, when it talks about but the fearful, you know, in your natural mind, right? When you become fearful, you kind of do things that you shouldn't do. Anxiety takes over, your reasoning skills are going out the window. You don't really process things properly at all when you're in a spirit of fear, right? Which is why we definitely have to stay away from fear and eradicate it from our spirit if we're going to let the Most High take the wheel and actually guide us when we're in these times of trouble that are going to come, right? Inevitably. But if there's no other precepts on the board, I'm gonna give it back to Leo so we can start the room officially.
Hey, could you read Revelation 3:16 real quick
Khan,
before we go
Khan,
back to Leah?
I could do that. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 16. And it reads, "So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth." Right?
Right. Con. And that's literally saying that we got to pick a side, man. You know, as the brother said, you can't be, you can't be fearful and say you have faith, sweating, smoking cigarettes, right? You can't be in the middle of this thing, right? You can't be taking days off from this truth right now. You got to be invested in this thing, right? Ready to endure it to the end and welcome anything that comes, you know? You got it, King. I'll pass it back.
Con Thawada, fire precepts. And thank you for adding to it. And one thing, this is not, it wasn't on the list, but King Ben, which is the last thing you said, definitely, um, um, that's, definitely is a good point. You said cigarettes. Go ahead and throw in, weed and alcohol and whatever your addiction is. You got to get rid of that now. That you will not have access to that stuff. Um, maybe in the beginning when the bomb dropping, you may have a little stash, or you may have an extra couple of packs, or you may have a bottle of Henny. But if you once that's gone and you didn't spend this time wisely to wean yourself off those addictions, you're going to have a very difficult time. It's well, you just went over don't fear and have all this. Okay, great. But the natural still rings true. I mean, it's like people who are like overweight. You could pray and all that stuff away. You can do it all they want, but if you don't go in the gym and work out and eat clean and fast and change your, nothing's going to change physically. Same thing with those addictions. So yeah, you've got to get rid of those now while there's still time. I mean, I've said that plenty of times during Jacob Trouble classes. The prescription meds, I know, I'm not trying to, be a doctor, but that is one thing that, you should at least look for natural alternatives. I'm not saying weed, but other natural alternatives or way to, wean yourself off of that, because 50% of the US population is on some type of medication for mental health problems. 50%. You got 350 million Americans on the continental US, and 50% need prescription drugs for mental problems or mental health or anxiety or schizophrenia. That's a lot of damn people not having access to their medicine. So I mean, that's legal medicine. We're not going to get into those who are addicted to illegal substances. So I'm sure the number just goes up where there's some overlapping. But whatever your addiction is, you got to get rid of that now. So um, and I'm about to go into the natural. So again, if you guys just ignored everything in the what we talked about in the spirit, everything I'm about to go through this list will benefit you nothing if the spirit is not there. So, um, but so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you should do now is plan ahead. I can't emphasize this enough. Your plan does not need to be elaborate or complex, but something simple, like you come straight home and you take this route, and if that route is impeded, you take this route. um, Reason being, if you and let's say husband and wife are working outside the home, um, you know whoever comes home first will know the route that the other person took to get home. So having that simple plan outlined is will be beneficial. All the planning does is kind of help eliminate the stress. Yeah, I mean, we know we just covered everything in the spirit, but when you talk about external confirmations or external stimuli, having a plan in place while being secured in the spirit will help with the anxiety. I mean, you're literally going to hear planes drop out the sky. You're going to hear bombs going off, And again, this is depending on where you are. If you're in rural Kansas, it's less likely than if you're in Los Angeles or New York. Okay. So I'll get to that later. But having a simple plan will help. Like, okay, you know, the husband made it home first. So, you know, he would know, okay, let me go ahead and fill up the bathtub with water. Let me get our bags ready out to the side. Okay, it's been an hour. She hasn't made it home yet. It's been 2 hours. I'm calling her phone. Okay, I know which route she took. I'm going, or, you know, I'm going this first route, or, you know, she's not there. I'm taking the second route. So that would help, you know, if the wife is home first, you know, if the husband says, do not leave, I'm coming home. Don't worry about it. I'm coming home. Do not leave that house if you get there before me. Whatever the plan is, you know, have one. Something that's very simple, you know, so people know, you know, where you are and where you should be. With those plans, you know, be adaptable because things are going to happen. You know, we can plan all we want, but the Most High has other plans for us. Then these plans mean nothing. So be adaptable. Don't say, "Well, I had this plan fixed, and you know things are not going right." Of course, it's not going to go right. It's World War III, and your city is being bombed. So yeah, it's not going to go right. So that's why you want to be adaptable. For the billionth time, if you have not taking your kid out of school and homeschool them. You know, this is another reason. You know, we cover plenty of reasons. 6-year-old getting arrested. You know, kids are being shown, you know, sex toys in school. You know, trainees are coming in and reading to the kids. There's a billion reasons we cover in the news why your kid should not be in these public. So school gets shot up. I think that happened today. Um, this will be, you know, World War III will be another one. Heaven forbid. Um, you drop your kids off at school and you're on your way to work, or you're at work and you get an emergency alert on your phone, and everyone in your office is getting the same alert, and you know first thing you're going to think of is your children. So that is the type of stress you do not want to deal with. You know, again, if you're that's one thing that you want to fast about and pray about, and in the natural work out a solution on how to work from home while homeschooling your kids, things like that. You know, considering what's around the corner. Okay. um, so, you know, that's the first thing. Plan ahead. It can be just make it simple, while being adaptable. And one thing you should do, as far as planning, I know, you know, what we saw in the first, we talk about Ukraine, what we saw, and this thing's going to happen. The exact same things happening in Ukraine is going to happen in the U.S., but it's going to be like exponentially worse. You know, and just a few reasons why I covered, you know, prescription drugs. You know, everyone's got a gun, but one thing you should do is just go to Google right now and just type in nuclear plants near me, or you know nuclear power plants in the U.S. There's a website that shows you every nuclear power plant in the U.S. For national security purpose. That's a nightmare. Why would that be on a website that shows exactly where they are? But anyway, that shows you how smart Babylon is. So at least you know in relation to where you live, where's the nearest one, and you know if you have to leave, either you leave early to get past it, or you go another way. Again, the Most High is going to guide you and direct you, but at least having that knowledge of ahead of time will be very beneficial. Okay. So here's some of the things that you can come to that everyone on a national level should have. You know, when I say national, it's just some problems that people from Los Angeles and Seattle, you know, the coastal cities, the major cities, they're going to just have different problems than someone in, you know, rural Oklahoma, it, just based on location and population. So some things you want to do is have cash on hand. As we saw with the ruble, it dropped 30%, and you know Monday the stock market was closed. A lot of Russians went to try to get their money out. Some were successful. I haven't heard anything about it, but you know the bank runs. That's basically what everyone tries to go to the bank and take out their money is a real thing. So you want to have some cash on hand. You know, just in case. That's all I'm saying. How much, I don't know. If people And the reason why you want to have cash on hand, because some people may still accept cash during the war, may think because they may believe the system's coming back up. So, if you need something and you have something more of a barter and trade item, cash would be it. And in the beginning, you're talking, we're talking, if this is prolonged, anarchy, and you're 3 months in, 4 months, cash is going to be worthless. So, but that just gets you through in the beginning stages. Or, if there's a cyber attack, internet is not working. Some stores, if they still have electricity and stuff like that, they'll take cash. Okay. Um, you want to have your food supplies, your cooking utensils, camping kits, medical, your supplies, which is your medical and your hygiene. um, you know, for your bug out bags, the hygiene, ladies, you want to make sure you have, a good amount of pads in your bug out bag. Now, with that, um, you know, if you have to leave, you want to have copies of your documents. Not, you don't need your high school diploma, stuff like that, but, your passport, copy of your driver's license, something like that. You should have it on you, but just in case you lose it or whatever, you have a hard copy in your backpack, or in your bug out bag. So you can have a hard copy or make a copy on a USB. Both would be preferred. Um, um, but hard copy, so you can just hand it. If you have to get through a checkpoint, because there will be checkpoints, um, you know, uh, for a time. I mean, America's going to lose it. America has never. 9/11 was not, that was not a war on American soil. No, it wasn't. The things that the rest of the countries experience, all these countries are getting bombed. America hasn't had a hint of that ever. What was the last one? Civil War. So, um, you may have to go through some checkpoints. You may have to show your documents, but just have it on hand. Okay. Now, with your bug out bag, we've covered plenty of lessons on this, but it's still good to as a refresher. So, one thing I want to do here, I think it'll let me post the YouTube videos. So here's a good YouTube video. Let me see. I don't think they. Yep. Okay, there you go. So this is how to build a bug out bag for a family. Yes, for a family. Everyone should have one. Husband, wife. If you got a kid, child, they should have one. Nothing too heavy for the child, obviously. You don't want them crying until it's heavy and you got to carry it. So something light that has, basic stuff, underwear, socks, things like that, which you should have that in yours too. Within that, snacks, beef jerky, something quick to eat, personal protection. I'm just kind of giving you a short list, but this video, City Prepper, he has very good videos on it, and those videos. He has one in Canadian Prepper. They have good ones. They kind of feed off each other. But everything in the video is what we covered before. So I'm just kind of giving you a quick rundown of that. But have it ready. It should be ready now. We've talked about this for God knows how long. It should be in your wherever your is quickly and accessible. If you already have one, you might want to go through it. Rotate out some of the snacks that may be, um, you know, catching up to expiration, something like that. Um, One thing I will say as a word of caution, you might want to put it on. And if you plan on going camping soon, you might want to try it out. But one thing I've seen, just from my personal experience and what I've read, and you'd be surprised how quickly this becomes a problem. Is the bag is too heavy. It's you think you need all this stuff, and if it's light and compact, it won't add. But as you add on little things and thinking I need this and this, that adds weight. So your bug out bag, the space within it will be a luxury. That is prime luxury real estate. Your bug out bag, and the more you add to it, the more that price goes up. So just basics. Whatever you don't have, the Most High is going to add it to you if He sees fit, and if not, you don't need it anyway. Okay. So check out that video. Now with that personal protection, we've covered this before, so Just telling you right now, you're not going to be walking out the street when it's time to leave. If it's time to leave your house, we'll get into that. If if you're staying in, um, you're not going to be walking down the street with an AR-15 shotgun and 3 handguns. You're just not. That's more weight that you gotta carry. And this is your first day with your bug out bag, and you never put it on, and you got all these guns. It's just you won't get out the block, and you're going to be a target. So, whatever your personal protection is, make sure it's light. You know how to use it. You're comfortable with it. You can quickly access it with your bug out bag on. That's another thing. If you got an AR-15, you're probably going to be carrying it. We'll see how long that lasts with your bug out bag, but have something to protect yourself, mace or whatever. Something that you are comfortable with. I've heard some stories of people they don't like guns. They don't want to get a gun, but someone talked them into getting a gun, and then when they had to use it, they got the gun taken away because they never practiced it, and the robber used it on them. There's some stories like that. But if you just refuse to get a gun, that's fine. Get something. I can't tell you what to get: a knife, bow and arrow, taser. Get something to protect yourself. And if you just refuse, if you're just comfortable in the spirit that the Most High is going to protect you, then don't get it. Okay. Um, Now with this, if it's time to leave, don't purposely stand out. Now, blend in. So, what I mean by that is I've seen some people, some brothers, I've seen some Edomites, I've seen some videos, people, like when they leave their house, like, oh, it's time to bug out and, we got to evacuate. They look like damn SWAT. I mean, black boots, black pants, tactical vest, bandana, paint under their eyes, and an AR-15. What do you think the invading army is going to think if they see you? They're honestly gonna believe that you are, law enforcement, you're some special forces, whatever, and they may engage you because you just look like the enemy. Um, Now, with that being said, I was trying to talk to some brother about this. He was, looked nice, looked sharp, just way too tactical, in my opinion. And he was like, "Well, we're Israel. We're not supposed to blend in. We're supposed to stand out and not be afraid." I'm like, I didn't even engage. I just said, okay, all right. I didn't even engage because you got your mind made up. You want to be tactical. You want to look like SWAT, and that's great. May the Most High protect you. He's keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and having the faith. He has nothing to worry about. But I'm just saying, like, why would you even want to stand out like that? So blend in. This goes into the next video. Um, One second. One second. This is a really good video on. Yes, this is a good one. Just great, man. Blending in. That's what it's called. Your normal clothes. Of course, if you got your fringes on and ladies, you got your head wraps and stuff like that, or your dresses or whatever. That's fine. But to look like a member of SWAT is not wise. That's all I'm saying. So don't purposely stand out. If you're in a situation where you have to wear those clothes, if you're in law enforcement and you're getting off of work and that's all you got, then that's what you got. But you know, it's and another reason for that is, for one, that it draws attention, unwanted attention. You're in three, you have to leave your house with your family, like SWAT. People are going to come to you for help, or people are going to think you've got some information that everyone else doesn't have. Why are you going this way and we're going this way? Oh, are you SWAT? It's just a lot of unnecessary things that could come from looking like law enforcement or the military. That is unnecessary. Like, why would you even put yourself in that position? So, comfortable, dress comfortable, because if you have to leave, and I keep saying if because, again, everyone is spread out across the world. I'm in a different country. Israel's a different country, and those who are in the states are in different states and cities. So if you have to leave, you want to be comfortable as possible. You may dress like SWAT and spend 50 days, during Jacob's trouble and don't fight one person, but you got these tight ass boots on and you're just uncomfortable. So, just be comfortable. The next thing now, bugging in. Bugging in just means you're staying indoors. Okay. There's quite a few things to consider if you decide to stay. And I would suggest initially, I don't see, if this is, again, if your plan is different, it's, if, when I say your plan is different, let's say you have a plan immediately, husband and wife, y'all work from home, all hell breaks loose. Your plan is to load up the van and go to your country house immediately. You pre-planned the routes that would have the least amount of traffic and things like that. Um, if that's your plan, all praises. But even then, you're still bugging in because you're going to a location. But you would just have to plan for that, point A to point B thing. But if you're staying in your primary residence where you live, there's some things to consider with that as well. You still want to have a bug out bag ready just in case. You never know. But if your plan is we're staying here until this roof falls or we're flooded and we got to leave or we get thrown out of our house because FEMA came or whatever, we're staying here. There's things to consider. You should have provisions, water, easy to prepare meals. And when I say easy, I'm talking about easy. Snacks, beef jerky, turkey jerky. You don't want to be grilling outside of in your garage or on your patio in your apartment. Way too much attention that you're going to be unwanted attention. And when I say attention, most attention and during this time will be unwanted. We would desire to be gathered with each other. But for those who are not in um, um, around a lot of other Israelites who are keeping the faith and having keeping the commandments, you're going to have most of the attention will be unwanted, just generally speaking. So bug in, you want to have your water easy to prepare meals. And with water, don't underestimate how much water you use. I'm sure at least one time in our lives we had a power outage where water was not working. And you just be surprised, like, how we don't think about it because we have abundant use of water, how often we wash our hands or, drink water or, stuff like that you just don't think about. So, I covered that in the lesson, water preparation. So let me go ahead and post that. This is just going, there's a lot of things for water. One second. That's not it. Salakia. Okay. So here you go. I'm sharing it right now. This is just some option for water storage. So this will help, for your planning. These are just some options to have for water based on your space. If you look at the far right, you see like the water bricks that are stacked. If you're in an apartment, you can put those in the back of your closet. You can put them under your bed, things like that. The water tanks in the middle, those, if you got a lot, a house or land or something like that, those are about 55 gallons. And then you have the little water containers up top. Those are just different options for water storage. The water bottles, the Nestle's that we get, those will tend to break down. I remember I bought like a case and I had it up there for like 6 months or whatever, and then I just decided to get a bottle of water, and it tasted funny. And so I think the plastic, there's a shelf life on that, cheap plastic. They're not really designed for long term storage. So if you do have those, make sure you're rotating them regularly. Okay, that could be your drinking water now, and then these water options would be your long term storage. Slovakia. And in the event you're still bugging in and you go through all your water, don't worry. What you can do is go to your water heater. Your water heater has about 30 to 50 gallons of water stored. So there's a way. Hold on. Water from. So there's a way to get the water out the water heater. So if you look at your water heater, whether you're in an apartment or house, there's a little spout at the bottom. I mean, it should have it to where you can, here's some videos I'll show you. If you just look up, here's a good one. How to drain and flush a hot water tank, repair and replace. Okay. You're not using it for repair and replace. You're using it for, to get the water out. So there's about 50 gallons in those water heaters. And, this is a good video on how to drain it. You should watch it, but you're draining it to get the water out. Now, with that, the bottom part of that water heater, because a lot of, the water settles. So you might have some sediments in the first, I guess like half a liter or a liter of water. Probably less than that, probably like half a liter of water. The sediments, filter that out and be sure to purify it. But there you go. You have an extra 50 gallons of water, and that will be same true if you are bugging out. Every house you pass by or building, there's a water heater, and you potentially have access to water if you're more in the urban areas versus the rural. So there's some things to consider. Oh, you want to add something, Ezra?
Yeah, Khan, Salakia King. But I just wanted to say this. It kind of hit me in the spirit just now. Not as the brother brings these stuff out, and of course you're gonna, I would hope that people would write things down and check on it after the room is done. But I would say this, just a little tip. A lot of people use social media, and let's face it, some of us are kind of addicted. I could even say that to a certain extent. But you want to go and look for DIY pages and things like that, right? That could be a help. Switch up your algorithm a little bit, and come across things that could be helpful in terms of repurposing items, how to plant things, how to grow certain things from the fruits that you already have, as opposed, there may come a point where, you get caught in this thing and you have fruits in the fridge, but you don't have any seeds, right? So I would say on all of your social medias, find at least 3 DIY pages and follow those so, you could get some to your feed, as you scroll and go throughout social media. I just wanted to point that out, but I yield. Salakia.
Oh no, no, you're good. You're good. I'm glad you said that. You brought out a few more ideas that I forgot to write down. That no, Dwight, I appreciate that. So if you're decided to stay in, make sure you keep a low profile. You don't want to be having your lights on and stuff like that if the power's still on. Get prepared. Be prepared for guests. Um, I'm sure they're unwanted unless you have a plan that some people come over your house or whatever, these specific people. But be prepared for guests. However you decide to handle that, or what the spirit leads you to handle that, um, that's on you. I can't tell you, for the most part, I mean, people that, we tried to warn and, they didn't care. They thought they were going to get raptured, or they just didn't believe. And then, World War III comes out, and then you made the rookie mistake of telling them that you got, guns and, green beans and Cheerios, for, 20 years. Um, there was a certain point I stopped talking to people about it. People who didn't want to hear it. One of my friends, he made a joke. He was like, "Well, we're coming over your house. He's got a wife and three children." And I said, or you could start preparing for you and your family. And he didn't say anything. But if things were to really pop off while I was still there, he would have came over my house. So I didn't prepare for extra 5 people. So, how I would have handled that, I mean, we don't live anywhere near each other anymore, so it's not a problem. But still, that is something that, uh, people will have to consider. When you make your preparations, you're not obligated to prepare for the scoffers. You're just not. So that is something that you're going to have to consider. um, family members and strangers alike. So that's just something to be aware of. I wouldn't stress about it, but having if Uncle Tyrone comes over, what's the plan? Babe, or you guys discuss it, or if you're by yourself, what's the plan? Um, but you will have guests. If you're staying indoors. Now with that, I'm glad Brother Azriel brought that out, because even with bugging out, you want to make sure you know where you're going. You think you know this road, or you think you know this highway, but it's blocked off, or you're stuck in traffic, like as we saw people in Ukraine or Kiev, the capital, trying to evacuate. Um, you know, we got to have some foresight. I just want to talk about that. But before that, when I say know your routes, have maps. Have a preferred hard copies, because if there's an EMP, your phone is going to be dead. It's not going to work. Anything with electronic chip or motherboard is not going to work. So having a hard copy, unless you just know the area by hand and you know all the side roads and back roads, that's fine. Or if you know how to navigate by the stars, great. If you're just not concerned about having a physical map, that's great. But for the rest of us, having a hard copy would be a good idea. Camping. Now, with that bug out in your bug out bag, they'll cover that in the video. But the video I posted. But camping supplies. Things to make a fire, or stuff like that. How to chop wood. That'll be your DIY videos that Brother Azriel was talking about. Some of the things that a lot of those accounts cover. So you know, um, be mindful of that. Now, your how things are going to play out will be different depending on where you live. The major cities, they're going to get the worst: New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, Houston, DC, Seattle, et cetera, et cetera. Especially the coastal cities. That's prime real estate for invading forces. Prime real estate for someone, 80,000, just exaggerate, 80,000 miles away to launch a missile. They're not going to launch it from Moscow and it goes over Seattle and hits, Idaho. They're not doing that. They're going after the major cities. So, um, one thing to look out for, which, if you are leaving or plan to, leave your house, most people I'm talking to, they live in the United States, which is where, things will pop off. So you don't have to, like, oh, I got to get back to my home country. If that's not you, then maybe you should really start praying whether or not you should, go back, home. That's something to consider. But for the most part, talking to so-called Americans who live in, Babylon. So, um, if you are leaving, the same things that happen in Ukraine will happen. China is going to quietly call their embassies back home. I saw someone on Twitter. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen anything about it. I may have to do some. Well, yeah, I would, to find out if it's true or not. This guy said Russia is calling all their embassies back home. I don't know how true that is. Of course, mainstream media is not going to cover that because it could cause a panic. Well, it happened in Ukraine. It could happen here. They're not going to cover that. So, some guy tweeted that, he had a blue check mark, so a verified account, but I don't know how true his
Now,
information is.
Salakia, I would say this. There was an article on RT saying that Russia is pulling back its personnel out of embassies across Europe. I don't know if that's the case all over the world, but I could verify that that is the case for some of those European countries, in particular the old Soviet Union states, that we cover all the time, the uh, Slovakia, Slovenia, Lithuania, Latvia, places like that. That's proof positive. That's confirmed.
Okay,
But
Con. Okay, the water for that. So, I mean, Europe's going to be the next target. I mean, it's logical that he would attack Europe next. I mean, he's in Europe. I mean, he's Eastern Europe, Western Asia, whatever. However, that would be logical. Hitler didn't skip over Europe and start, trying to attack, the U.S. So that's a logical military step, especially since Europe is pissing them off to no end. That's logical. Okay, so um, if it is in the U.S., you definitely got to get on your. You definitely have to be aware. You do not want to be these people. I mean, again, I love our people, but once and again, I saw today in Brazil, they had, the white Brazilians got out and, they got doing interviews. They were crying and everything, but the black Brazilians are somehow still stuck there. That type of racism, I mean, people will flee to their own country / own people. They're not, tribalism will be at the highest. Jake will be the last people to get the memo, but Edom will be with Edom, Elam will be with Elam, Ham will be with Ham. But unfortunately, Jake and Ham, we get caught in these situations where we're at the mercy of Edom, letting on dogs and pets, and you wait until Fufu has a seat, and then if there's anything left, we'll let you on the train. When embassies start to call their people back, that is not a good sign. I mean, I know we saw that in the early days before this invasion, but when the invading army lowers their flag at their embassy, cough, cough, Russia, and tells their embassies to come back home, lowers the flag, not just say come home, lowers the flag, that is not a good sign. Um, you know, you do not want to be in these type of situations. But again, most people I'm talking to are in the U.S., so you have a home or a place that you would be. Um, you know, so but you don't want to be going to a concert and Russia is lowering the flag at the embassy at your city and telling his embassy to come home. You do not want to be in that position. So wherever you are, those major cities, of course, you just got more to deal with naturally. I'm almost finished. This is the last point I want to make. Suggestion: start staying away from large population areas. The whole false flag thing, Russians are going to shoot up the mall. That's not going to happen. It could, but more than likely, when they come, you're going to know they're here. So start staying away from large population areas, sporting events, concerts, malls. I would say if there's something if malls in your major city. I mean, I'm lived in Houston. Um, the Galleria is a mess. It's always a mess, and holidays are just worse. Or so you do not want to be there when you're walking around and everyone in the mall gets that emergency alert on their phone saying your city is being bombed. Seek shelter immediately. It's going to be hell on earth for people who are in these sporting events. And because like in the US, people act like there's nothing going on. Sporting events are still going on. The new Marvel movie is still planning for its release. Like everything is normal because that's over there. But when it gets here, people are going to get caught. A lot of people, I would say, the vast majority of people will be caught off guard when this happens. So again, some of these malls or places are hell trying to get into on a normal day, let alone when everyone is getting these emergency alerts from their phone. So, um, you know, if there's something you have to get from these places, like I got to pick this up or I got to get it, try to have it delivered if you can. But these, I guess, I'm not saying stay at home and lock the door and just close your curtains and I'm not saying that, but it's just certain places at this time we really shouldn't be, going. And if you're going, get in and get the hell out as quick as possible. Um, you know, so that is just some of the things. And based on again, I got to reiterate the scriptures that I brought out earlier. We will be taken care of. So whatever your preparation is, your level of preparation, don't get scared because you couldn't afford the $8,000 generator that you saw Canadian prepper have and look nice, does all that, has a bells and don't be worried about that. There's not one scripture says that so and so won't make it because he couldn't afford this generator or this gun or he didn't have those cool boots. That's just not biblical. So you know, just kind of want to do a broad overview, but some of the things that you're going to expect, some of the external stimuli you can expect, there will be panic. Your government is the U.S. government is not going to warn you ahead of time. Oh, like they kept warning Ukraine. Oh, it's imminent. It's any day now. It's imminent. There's troop movement on the border. Oh, just 48 hours. He's going to cross. He's coming tonight. They will not do that to the American population. You saw the panic during COVID, and people were, lost their mind. Let alone your own government on the CNN every day talking about they're on their way. Russia's on their way. China's on their way. They're not going to do that. They're going to be in their secure bunkers, and you're not going to know they're in their secure bunkers. You're going to watch some blue screen of them giving a speech or shaking hands, and that's all fake. But you're not going to know your senators and people, the people of power have left and went into hiding. You're not going to. They're going to know. They're going to know, but you're not going to know. So that's why you want to be prepared ahead of time. But you can, once the bombs start dropping, you can expect chaos. Planes are going to come out the sky. If they do an EMP, planes are going to drop out of the sky. Not, if you're a flight attendant or a pilot or you're about to travel, don't fear. Again, the Most High is going to, protect you. You may be at the airport and things pop off and you didn't get on that plane that was about to take off. So, the Most High's got you, so don't start walking in fear. Now, if you plan on taking a trip to hot girl summer in Jamaica, and you probably want to reconsider that, considering where we are in world events and biblical prophecy. That's just my 2 cents. You can do what you want, but that's just my 2 cents. So, having this, being secured in the spirit to the best you can and making your physical preparations the best you can will just increase your chances of staying calm while all hell is breaking loose. And, bugging in may be the best idea because you're not out listening to everyone go crazy. And there will be rioting, there will be looting, there will be people trying to get, that Burka bag or that PS5, stupid stuff in the beginning. You don't want to be anywhere near that. So, with that, I yield. Hopefully that was helpful. Just kind of want to give you a broad overview from the spirit aspect and from the natural. Just some things to consider. Some of the high points. But again, we have the YouTube channel, and there's plenty of YouTube channels that cover this. And don't start getting afraid when you see the guy talk about some cool bag or this new piece of hardware that he has, and you think you need that. If the Most High blesses it with you, fine. Make sure you're a blessing to someone else with it. If he doesn't, fine. It's not that it's really not that big of a deal. The Most High is going to protect us. So I just want to give again a broad overview of things we covered in the past. But I thought this room would be appropriate considering where we are in mainstream news and biblical prophecy. So with that, I yield. Brothers, if you have anything else you want to add, feel free. If not, we can close out.
Yeah, this is a good refresher course. I'm always big on some of the foundational principles when you're going to prepare. I think you started out with not just making sure that you get your spiritual foundation, and you prepare your spirit, your mind, and get your mind ready for what's to come. Most of what you're going to get your mind ready for is the understanding of how to deal with these scenarios that he brought to you. How you do that is having a plan, writing it out, you know, going over with your wife, husband about that plan, making some adjustments, and then going over it again, processing it in your mind. As you're doing your daily chores or activities, running your errands, you go over some of the things like, oh, hey, if our kid is at school and the grid goes down, EMP happens, we get the alert. Where do we all meet? Well, let's go meet at the school. I'll meet you there. I might have to get out of my car because I'm on the 405 and all the cars have shut off, and I might have to hump it. with my bug out bag in the trunk, but do not leave that school. I will be there and I will come get you. It might take me 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, but I'll be there. You have to have that conversation, have it repeatedly. Um, so that's how you get your mind right. All the things that we kind of went over today, but also you need to get your body right. I'm always a stickler that fatties are not going to make it. It's into the Jacob's trouble. They're not going to do it, right? Do not assume that you're gonna get all overnight get the power of Samson so that you can endure the level of stress that your body's gonna have to endure as you become a pilgrim and you have to evade and escape and do all the physical activity that's needed to carry a pack that's probably gonna have anywhere between 30 to 60 pounds of gear inside of your backpack, not including the ammo and the firearm that you want to carry with you, not including the babies that you had with your wife, not including her bag, not including the tent that you have to carry, right? Oh, you need a 5-man tent because you got a wife and 2 children and you need some space to feel comfortable in that tent during the winter time, but you're going to have to put that in your pack. That's an extra 20 pounds that you need to put in your backpack, depending on what type of tent that you get. Do you just get any type of tent, or do you get something that's light but quick to set up? You have to understand that your body also if you're going to get boots, like he said, you don't need to get jack boots, black, swamp boots. You might need to get a comfortable hiking boot or hiking shoe, and then go hiking in that boot. Wear it, put it on your foot, and go hiking with the pack that you're going to actually carry. So you can train your body in enduring that level of stress. You might realize that you have muscles in your body that you never felt before in your life because you never did that level of activity before, right? So I'm a stickler for that. I think that that is important. Also, learn how to, read a map and learn how to deal with directions, right? Looking up at the sun or looking up at the stars and knowing what direction you're headed. So you're not headed in the wrong direction because it's the first time you've opened a map in your life because for the most part, you've been either been doing MapQuest or Google Maps or Apple Maps your entire life. So understand. Um, so that's where I'm at. The prophecies and all that, and understanding like what's going on and the different alerts, and watching the news and figuring out where you are in the Book of Revelation. You got a lot of teachers and elders that are going to be able to give you that information. But that information is going to be worthless to you if you don't prepare your mind and your body to endure what's to come. That's my position. I yield.
Hey, if you're a fatty and you think Jake was talking to you, voice your displeasure in the chat.
Uh, Salakia. One thing, good points, brother Jake. One thing about getting your mind right is if you've prayed for patience, just prepare for trouble. I mean, that's the only way you gain patience is by going through hard times. Um, so with the, I guess more the mindset is, if you blow off the handle when someone cuts you off in traffic, you're gonna have a hard time during Jacob's trouble. I mean, things are just going to go. Again, you'll be protected, you'll be taken care of, but you're just gonna have you're just gonna go through some uncomfortable things. So learning, I'm still learning to not argue with everyone on every point of the Bible and stuff like that. But just take a breath and like, okay, that's small compared to what's going on in the world. So and what's coming to the world in short order. So just that's just another tip that I'm glad Brother Jake brought out as far as getting your mind right. If the little things in peacetime is pissing you off and you always got to explode, You really think you're going to be tempered and controlled and measured and calculated when, you got, like, you look outside and, FEMA is shooting at Russia, and, somebody's trying to come in your house because you got some, you really think you're going to, be calm, cool, and collected? It's just not realistic. So I yield.
Con, and I just wanted to say too, I don't want people to get comfortable in thinking that what's happening in Ukraine and Russia is going to be over there, and this thing uh, may the U.S. may not see it. Right? That's not going to happen. America is definitely going to see it. Since 2016, heavy military artillery has been moving into the interiors of America. So if it wasn't for what they've been doing as it relates to the provocation of Russia and what they did in Ukraine, they're preparing for something home base in any event, right? So, the brothers have been doing this for damn near a year and a half now, right? Uh, I just came around recently. The brothers have been doing this for a long time. They brought out tons of excellent information and resources on the things that we need to do to prepare. And I think we need to place a sense of urgency on it. Right? I know people have things to do. They got bills they need to pay, but this is a pressing matter. Right? It's not going to take nothing, or it shouldn't. You shouldn't look at it as something grievous. If it's something that's going to extend your life, and hopefully, Lord willing, uh, get you to that point where we see this salvation, right? So we got to make it urgent and put some importance on it, not just coming in the clubhouse rooms, listening for a minute, and then going back to your regularly scheduled program, right? Brothers and sisters need to wake up and get alert, because we're definitely in these last days. Things are happening all the time. You got the World Economic Forum now preparing for a catastrophic cyber event that could shut down everything. We're talking your cards won't be able to work, won't be able to get to the bank, nothing operational. I mean, despite the fact that it would take control of your infrastructure, your energy, heating, all of that, right? So these devils are preparing for major things and major events, and we need to prepare as well and put a sense of urgency behind our preparation. And that's all I wanted to say. I yield.
I forgot one thing too. Um, I forgot a thing to say. Keep a lot of this stuff to your chest, in your close to the vest, right? Your plans, what backpack you bought. I'm going hiking with my backpack because I need to get ready just in case. Oh, I've been stocking up on food and toilet paper. I've been investing in silver. You don't need to be telling people that. Keep your mouth shut. You don't need to tell your family members that you've been investing in silver because it's a hard currency. It's tangible. You can put it in your pocket. It's a great bartering. You don't need to be telling people that because guess who's coming over for dinner when the grid goes down? They coming to your house. You don't need to do that. Be blend in, right? Um, what what Leonardo said earlier. Part of being an Israelite, you don't need to. You can let your light shine, but you don't gotta be like, you don't need to bedazzle yourself, right? Just keep yourself blend into your environment. That's what I do that naturally. I sometimes I real my wife told me like you only have black t-shirts in here, you know, and gray shirts. And I do. I don't have a bunch of graphic tees and stuff like that. That's just how I didn't even realize it, right? But what I do is I blend in. I got my fringes on, right? Sometimes I wear my little, head wrap thing, right? Um, so that kind of makes me stand out a little bit. But if I don't wear that, I kind of blend in. You kind of want to do that. You don't want to tell your family members your business because those are the people who are gonna bust inside your house and make you feel guilty because you have some stuff that they don't have and they child is crying. You don't want to be like that.
Con, con. And you got to know, the scriptures say your enemy shall be they of your own household, right? So that aunt, that uncle, mother, your dad, who definitely ain't in the truth, they eating pork every Sunday, they're not going to have the spirit on them to have any sense of discipline. So if they know you got it and they need it, guess what? That, family and kindred spirit is going to be out the window. And people are going to, right now in the world as it is, without the pressures military conflict and just the depression of everything that you once knew your whole life, everything you had your mind wrapped around to be, careers, jobs, all of this completely gone to nothing. Right now, in the world we exist in, it has some form of comfort still, even though, that's debatable to me, right? You have issues with jealousy and envy and everything else. So imagine when all the proverbial shit hits the fan, how these people are gonna be. Nobody, you're gonna have very, very, very few friends in that day, right? And even the ones that are friends with you now in this truth, right? Because when people get desperate, they do some wicked shit, right? You have to definitely have the spirit on you to maintain and to be able to endure, right? So just realize that, because what the brother Jake is saying is actual facts, right? And I know we love our family members, but when D-Day comes, you're gonna see a side of them that you probably never seen before in your life. But I yield. KB, oh, you had something to say? I was gonna.
No, I was just going to say that's all I have. So if any brothers have anything else to add, feel free. Great words of wisdom from the brothers on stage. Thank y'all for coming to help us out. But yeah, I don't have anything else. So if there's nothing else, we can close out.
Con. Hey,
Take us.
go ahead, Azrael. Yeah, so
No, I was saying you could take us away, but I mean, I guess you had something to say. Hey,
con. So, I think the brothers, said it in detail. I believe we got is it a Truth Mafia room? I think it's at 8:30. The brother Quadazap had told me. Coming up. Let me check the schedule. Salakia. Yeah. Okay. Yes, at 8:30. It's regeneration. Um, a, what is it? A heathen thought, or is it biblical? So that'll be on the Truth Mafia platform, and that'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So look out for that room. It's roughly a little over an hour away. Right. So definitely a good lesson, a good refresher lesson from the brother Leo through the Spirit. You know, my brother is all the way in Brazil, but he's still bringing it out through the Spirit, man. Doing the work of the Lord. So we thank the Most High for that. We thank everybody for coming out. Of course, we want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem and Mashiach Wamalak Shai. We pray that y'all have a good evening. Stay safe, stay vigilant. Yeah, and shalom.
Yeah, yeah. And time of trouble, yeah. What you gonna do? Yeah. What now? What you gonna do? In time of trouble, trouble. Trouble is yeah, yeah. You better not, yeah, yeah.